What time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah.
Yeah, fun Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, move on to treat, yeah. Keep listening.
The beauty of this is you guys don't have headpieces in. Hello and welcome to your show. I am Gary, your host. I got two of my favorite people in the world here. Before we go to them, right before we go on air, we get the 10-second countdown, and then we get the mics are unmuted. So right before we go on, the mics get unmuted, and then usually when people are starting out up here and they don't have the headset in, they don't hear that. So right before we go on, it's like, all right, check, 1, 2, getting ready to go, doing your thing. Thank goodness we don't just curse like sailors right before we go on just to get it all out, because that would be pretty funny too anyway. But either way, it is your show. Welcome to it. Happy Tuesday to you, the Tuesday edition. Margaret, where's Marge at? Should we see if we can get Marge? Come here. I got a little treat. Come on now. Good girl. Let's hit up a Maggie cam right now. We got the Phenom in the booth, spinning the ones and the twos for there it is. Old fluffy butt on the Maggie cam. For our good friends over at Pet Planet on A Street, your pet's natural grocer. Mike and Rochelle, the whole team over there. We played the video yesterday of Leroy, Mike and Rochelle's beautiful, beautiful puppy who is dating Maggie. They're like a power couple now, two of the most famous dogs in the history of dogs. So the video was very funny, and their whole team over there, always happy to help you with whatever you're doing. Even if you're just having a bad day, go by, say hello, they will turn it around. I promise you. Well done, Phenom. And now, without further ado, Tuesdays used to be basically, I'm not sure which came first, the chicken or the egg, but either way, they are both here now. And Tuesday became their day, and this magical little Tuesday team we got is turning into so much more, which we will get more into very shortly. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Uncle Mike and Matt from all the bands. Yeah, baby.
Gary.
Look at this. And we got the big wide angle going. How about that, hey? I was saying to you guys earlier, man, I'm going through all this back pain right now. I'm crippled. I barely made it in the studio. I didn't even bother trying to put a shirt on. And then you both started looking like, well, you have like a whole plethora of shirts right in front of you that you could put on.
There's a few to choose from.
There's a lot. And I was like, yeah, that's a really good point. But then it goes back to the whole not being able to lift my arms up and put a shirt on.
But that was when it was just you. Now we have 3 people here. I feel like it's a game changer. I'm not gonna
just designated shirt putter honors.
We could have helped.
That like stretcher guy.
That'd be fun, yeah.
Mike can guide the armholes.
We could also just opt for the drape.
Yeah.
Just drape it on you.
I didn't even think
so you
about
don't even
that.
have to put your arms up. Just
Either way, I appreciate you guys being here. So thank you for making Tuesdays very special, as we always do. Uncle Mike over here, you know him from his all-natural products, as he is all naturally in all of our hearts with all of these incredible concoctions that he creates. He also gives us the DAM20 promo code.
That's right.
Is that still going? Are we
still
holding that on?
DAM20. Save 20% at unclemikesnatural.com.
We also did a box opening because we had, what was it, for gardening? We had the gardening box for the box opening, which is very, very fun.
Yep.
And we have Father's Day coming up.
This is true. Father's Day.
I've heard this.
I almost forgot about that.
So, with that in mind, is there going to be any Uncle Mike's Father's Day specials going on?
There will be, kind of closer later in the week, I guess. All the favorite men's products, I guess. So shaving and beard products, our Man Bar, our True Grit Bar. So some of the products that were featured in the Gardener's Kit.
Okay.
But yeah, kind of the more men-specific products, I guess. Beard and shaving products. Because men either grow a beard or have to shave, I guess.
I like to think that this segment that we have started here is slowly turning into the how to save whatever day you're trying to save, be it Mother's Day, which we totally did, and now Father's Day coming up. I feel like you're just built right in for that. Hey, last minute gift, come on over, damn 20 it up.
Yeah, we used to call those lifesavers back in the day. Like for us, my mom really likes Christmas music. So for Christmas,
Oh.
like Josh Groban would always be pumping out a new Christmas album. We're like, oh man, that guy's a lifesaver.
That's
The
it,
Groban, the
Now we got a new
Buble.
lifesaver.
Yeah, there you go. Bar
That
soap,
is
you know.
so true. We had Elvis. For my mom, is Elvis CDs. Just loves Elvis. So that was it. And then once you run out of Elvis CDs, I think we'd had like a 20-year run. Then you go to like the new ones that come out, the new compilations with the same songs, but they're in different orders, and now you're saved again.
And she will love it all the same.
It's the thought that counts, right?
That's
If you
right.
know it's something that she's really passionate about.
That is true.
So
That is
that's
true.
that's good. Over on the far side, we got my man Matt from all the bands being Untimely Demise, Raven Witch, and Into Eternity. Mr. Music, as I like to call him. What is up, brother? What's going on in your crazy world? Feel free to get in that mic a little more. I know Network Ryan's always giving a shit about guys being
yeah,
on
I
the
don't
mic.
want to be. I feel like there's certain load-bearing aspects of this
You
chair
did
that
get
I
the
don't.
shit
yeah,
chair.
I
You
don't-
got
I
the
don't wanna mess
shit
with them,
chair,
but,
yes.
For us, Raven Witch is going into the studio this
Woo!
Saturday, which is awesome. So yeah, I'm just doing all of the boring stuff, making the click tracks, doing the kind of slave tracks that Tristan will play along with, because it's just gonna be me and Aaron will drive out with Tristan. He's gonna do 4 songs, so we've got those all done. And then I think he's actually gonna do a couple Battle X songs after too, kind of. So that's
He's
pretty-
almost as busy as you, hey?
He's
with all the banding he's doing.
Absolutely, but that's the way it works these days. Is like, okay, if we're going to the studio to record, you're in another band, you need a couple songs. Let's just do it all in
Bang
one.
it
Like,
out.
why make it two separate trips? So yeah, doing that, and then I've been working on those 2 songs with the Noel era of Raven Witch. So
So
like
pumped.
today, I've got Noel's guitars edited. I started editing mine today, and then most of them were kind of, there was issues with them, so I just ended up re-recording them because, yeah.
Computer issues?
Well, just I wasn't really happy with them, and I like
Okay.
I could
Perfectionist
I could
issues.
tinker.
I
Like
gotcha.
they weren't sitting with the grid properly, so basically I could spend 2 days, moving everything just a little, and or I could just spend an hour re-recording it, and it's probably a lot
Right.
easier that way.
And that's the one you went with.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that's where I'm at right now. So really, it'd be cool if we could do the drum tracks, on Saturday, and then within the next couple weeks, maybe bang out one of these 2 songs and have that ready to be releasing, some sort. And obviously, it's going to be debuted here, because
Just saying,
why
man.
wouldn't it be?
I
But-
really feel like we should be playing a lot more of the music you own, and I say that very matter of factly because right before we came on, you were like, "Hey, check out this little Bad Religion cover I did," and Uncle Mike and I are like, "All right, let's start the mosh pit if I could walk."
Yeah, and that's the cool thing is I have lots of those where they're kind of like, they're not really finished. They're just like, I spent, a day or whatever working on it, and it's like good enough that I can be like, hey Gary, hey Mike, check
So
this out.
cool.
But
I mean,
it's not like I would be like, wouldn't want to like put it out on a CD or
Right.
The
or however-
perfectionist in you wouldn't want that, yeah.
Exactly.
And to the untrained ear, it sounds awesome.
And
right?
that's
We're,
the
we're just
difference.
happy to get a sample of it. I
That's
think
the difference,
fun part,
exactly.
right?
But yeah, so there's that, and then me and Murray are getting together on Sunday, and I think our goal is to just because like we want to do a EP with Untimely Demise.
Hell
so
yeah.
I'm kind of thinking just every Sunday try and bang out a song, and then we'll be ready to be tracking with Brian for that. So that's pretty much the Raven Witch stuff. I guess we did that playthrough video with Turn in Circles, and like again, not great for like big bands and stuff, but like within the last couple weeks, it's got over 1,000 plays or whatever. For us, that's like decent momentum. So
That's huge,
pretty,
man.
Pretty stoked. I don't know where that's coming from, but just like so thankful because I'm always gonna be that kid where I put it out and then I'm like, let's see how many plays we got.
See, and that's
Let's
the
see how-
thing. That plays into what I wanted to get into on this topic. The fact you're so hard on yourself, do you think that's just because you need everything to be in your control and it all has to be perfectly done the way you want it? Or is it more of a, I just don't want people to judge me. I don't want people to sit and say, this is garbage. Like, can you find something in between there?
Yeah, well, it's kind of because it's changed over the years. For the first 3 albums we did with Glenn Drover in
Yes.
Toronto, who was the ex-Megadeth guitarist.
Big name, yeah.
Played in King Diamond and lots of other bands. He's did some session work with Testament. So he's just like one of my heroes or whatever. And he took care of everything, like as far as production and stuff. But he showed me how to, hey, there's an empty space here. You should put in some sort of lead melody, or like, you know, when you end on your final solo, like I always want to end on that perfect like final cadence, the nice sounding one, where he's like find the bad sounding note and end on that, and make. So like he taught me lots of things, and then when we stopped going with him just because it's expensive and he is in Toronto, so like it became a point where I think we got a grant from Sask Music or one of the Sask Arts boards, and they said it had to be recorded in Saskatchewan. So then we started working with Justin, and then right before COVID happened, buddy Joel, who helps me out with all my gear, and he's just like and he's a guitarist of Battle X.
Hell yeah.
He got me set up recording on my own, so all the stuff I do for this and that Bad Religion cover I showed you. But yeah, that was a step where like people have heard the music with Glenn producing it, and now I'm kind of doing a lot of that.
So you set this precedence,
I have to keep up, or I really, do a better job. So it's like it's just always a rebuilding process, and I think that can be scary the first time you're doing your own recording.
The mental battle, right? Yeah. It's just nonstop. That's something we've been dealing with. I talked to Brooksy yesterday. She was on the show, and we were talking about comments on videos and the way that people take full advantage of an open door to just punch you right in the wiener and then just speed bag your testicles over and over. At least try to. I come into this thing fully understanding, this is basically a social media content creation studio. That's what we're doing here. But at the same time, I'm doing it with a social media person, aka Brooksy, to make sure I don't ever have to read a comment. I don't ever have to respond to anybody, because I've been saying it for years. Nothing good comes from it. We had a troll, apparently, our first ever troll, that was just going on to every single post that came out from us. And it just kept proving my point. As like there was a group chat message saying, we got our first troll. We had to block this person. They were mad that you were donating to the food bank, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And all my comment was, after everyone talked about all this stuff, I said, comments. Am I right? That was my whole thing.
That was your
this
comment.
Huge group chat, and everyone talking about this and that. And I
That's-
ended it with, am I right? The comments.
With the brand of your show and everything, it's like positivity and building people up, and when one of us rises, we all rise. So it's so funny that, like, how can you troll on that being your mantra?
People will find anything, unfortunately, and I mean it's these people, they're armchair warriors or whatever they think they have to prove, or I don't know what drives people to spend time on that,
And I routinely would try to figure out exactly what we're talking about. And I wouldn't respond to anybody. At the old place, we'd get all these texts and all these comments, and we were told, you have to respond to every single one. Every one of them. And I just laughed, like, you got it, boss, I'm on it. I'll be the first guy to do it. And of course I wouldn't do it. Like, that's insanity. Like, what are you thinking, right? But and that's probably that is exactly why I'm here today instead of over there, but with my head held high, which is a good thing. I would, like, the really, really bad ones, like when someone would tell me, like, you're the worst on-air personality ever, like, listening to you makes me want to kill myself, like, why do you, like, all these horrible things.
Oh my God.
And those would be the ones I would respond to, just to try to figure out what is behind that comment. Where does that come from? And each time I would start with, hey, thanks for letting me know, buddy. I'm really sorry I upset you with how I operate. I'm working on myself as well as we go, and if there's anything else I can do to help, let me know. And they would 1,000%. Every single time, get back and say, sorry, man, I didn't really mean it. I just having a really bad day and I just had to let it out somewhere. It just comes from people that have been shit on themselves and they don't know how to deal with being shit on, so they just pass it along, pass the buck. And then each time I would do like those very specific interactions, I walked away feeling better, and I'm sure they did too, just because it's like, dude, I get it. But this isn't probably the healthiest way for you to deal with that.
Right. Well, and it's just like, like a bully in school, right? Like those people are probably in a rougher spot than the people that they're bullying, right? And then they take it out on someone else, and then it just, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know those people.
It generally seems like it stems from an insecurity of some sort.
Or jealousy or something, right?
But It's just unfortunate because man, life's too short.
Oh,
Come
exactly.
on.
That was my big sort of trump card was if you can sit here and consume what we are putting out as a network and the positive, there's that term I hate so much, but the positive vibe. I feel so dumb even saying like vibe. That positive aura we're trying to put out of like be a good person, help people around you. Stop caring about yourself so much, start caring about other people. And then you'll notice your life will get better. If you can find something negative in that to the point where you want to post it somewhere, we don't want you here anyway. Right? Like, so good riddance. That's why my big thing is get rid of the comments. I don't need comments for us to succeed at trying to make this world a better place. We don't need people coming in here and trying to slow that progress down because we are moving at such a good pace right now just by being us and just by saying, hey, be a good person. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to try to be good people. Like, have you ever had anyone go to Uncle Mike's on your web machines thing? What's that called? Social medias. And be like, hey, Uncle Mike, you know, your soap can kick rocks and like your lip balm tastes like shit.
Yeah.
You ever had anyone?
Countless times.
Yeah.
Countless times.
So how do you deal with it?
I kill them with kindness. Kind of a similar thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like
It's the best way.
it's like, wow, thanks so much for trying our products. You know, we're always looking for suggestions for new products or new scents or new
and
flavors.
that infuriates because they're like,
Oh, totally.
I was trying.
Exactly. And it's like, and then I just find it more hilarious, right? Where it's like, dude, like, you're really that choked. And I mean, you know, in any business, in anything, you're not going to be able to please everyone, right?
Of course not.
And squeaky wheels get the grease. I find like you got certain people chirping, and I mean, sure, I'm probably going to put more effort into responding to that person or figuring out what their issue is. But really, it's, and when I first started, it was like, oh, this friggin' guy, you know, I would let it piss me off. And then eventually it's like, dude, it has no, like, have they even tried products? I've found people, and, you know, through the online, you can track customers and you get people saying like, well, I ordered this thing and online and blah, blah, blah. And then you go and check. It's like, there's no record of you actually ordering it, dude. So what?
And that's the thing. They might just like if you've got your niche and the people that like, you know, either like your thrash death metal or like natural products or whatever. And some people aren't into thrash death metal, or some people just like Gillette, and you know that's going to be their thing, or the Walmart or what, all the other brands. But if you can find your niche and you got your people that stick with you, that's kind of the goal. That's what we want, is just to find that core.
Totally.
That supports
and I think, you know, you put effort into those people that are going to support you, right? I mean, sure, I'll answer back with a comment like, sorry, or whatever. I mean, but I'm not really putting a lot of effort or thought into it. It's like, oh, we'll address it, and then we move on, and I'll spend time with people that I actually want to spend time with, or you know.
I picture someone less full of confidence than you with a response of something like, yeah, we have our new asshole rub coming out right away. We'll be sure to send it on over. You know, like the potential for some comebacks would be very good.
You've just inspired me to create a new product.
You know what
Like,
I
are
mean?
you thinking like a bleaching aspect?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, just get it ready. You, on the other hand, as I can relate to you a little more as sort of a performer. Do you ever have that stuff carry over to online stuff or carry over to shows? Like, have you ever had to deal with like hecklers and all that shit?
The thing is, I'm so aware that thrash death metal with like, it's not heavy enough to like, cause I'll put in melodies and stuff, and sometimes I'll even play like punk rock elements. So like, it might not be heavy enough for some of the true metalheads or whatever.
Right.
And then it's too heavy for everyone else or this. And I understand that. I just want my, like the people that like my stuff. Yeah. And you know, if you're going to make fun of like the way we look or anything like that, good for you. That's fine. And we understand. We're a band. We're a public you know.
We sign up for
this.
Right?
And that is what it is. But I spend zero time thinking about it. You want to be that way? That's great. Like, I'm just going to go write another song.
I got better shit to do.
Yeah.
That's I guess the take home is the people that can deal with it the best are usually the ones who are already the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
You've overcome that mountain.
for me, I find it's almost the opposite at this point. Like with that Manitoba Metal Fest, where Untimely had not our greatest performance, but like I said, that was the time where we sold 3 times more merch than we ever have, and we had people coming up and just talk, and it was like kind of the community was coming in, and it was like, hey, we understand you had some issues, but you know, like we felt supported by these people, where that would have been the easiest time for everyone to light up and, you know, put the videos up, like check out this clip of Untimely Demise, and it didn't happen, and I thought that was cool.
Yep.
I'm hearing a common theme of positivity and good coming out of bad, and sort of that whole mantra of basically what we've been saying since the start here. How do we go about putting that out there so other people can know it's okay to, you know, not to put someone in their place when they're trying to start shit, but to sort of steer them in the right direction, just because interacting with people now is so frowned upon. You know what I mean? Like, people don't interact. People will go so far out of their way, and myself included. I go through every single option I can before I decide, okay, you have to do this, you have to leave the house, you have to go. Like, how do we make it, I guess, more acceptable to tell people who are out there trying to shit on everybody, like, dude, like, check yourself a little bit. Like, how do we combat that? Because confrontation is like the hardest thing in the world right now. You can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is there any easy fix to this? Because I feel like we've all had the experiences of telling a guy, hey, like, I'm sorry, and sort of trying to turn them back around. How can we make that more of a normalcy in society? Not to hit you with the hard-hitting questions here or anything, but as I've been spending the last day not moving, I told you guys I don't think about anything, but I guess I've been thinking about everything in my brain because I haven't been able to move.
I mean, leading by example, I guess. You know, someone comes at you and you take it, you know, same way you're addressing comments or whatever. Like, they almost expect to get a rise out of you, and when they see that it doesn't bother you, either they're going to push harder or they're going to let up a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
I hate knowing that it's so easy for people to just go on a computer on their phone and ruin your effing day, man. That pisses me off.
And I think the other thing you have to realize is that some people are just going to be those people, and so the less effort or less time you put in trying to figure out, because that's like, honestly, you know, I've had people like, well, you shouldn't have this ingredient, or you should have this ingredient, and then so I go down this rabbit hole of like, oh, maybe I should change this up to better suit this person, and it's like, wait a second, you know, same with a song or whatever, right? It's like, why would I look at changing something that one person or 1% of had a problem with when 99% of the other people are digging it?
And
or
once
loving
you
it,
start doing that, where you're trying to appease everyone, now you're going to have a product that nobody wants.
Exactly.
And it just, it always gets, same with with the new Untimely Demise record, it's a bit kind of leaned more in the Iron Maiden Priest direction and a little less in the like death obituary. Yep. And, you know, I had one guy, you know, he's like, yeah, I listened to Maverick when it came out, and I didn't like it. And then before the show, I went to listen to it again, and yeah, I still don't like it. And I was like, that's totally fair. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for letting me know. But like, I really enjoy it. I like that there's some clean singing. I like that it's more melodic. I enjoy it. If you like the heavier records, we've got other records that you can listen to, and if it's not for you, that's great, but thank you for letting me know that you don't enjoy it.
And I've had this conversation with a couple buddies at a show, and someone said a similar thing. You know, I can't remember what band it was, but you know, they released a new album, and you know, buddy was like, like, it doesn't sound like their old album or their old stuff. It's like, well, do you want a band to just kind of continue putting out the same? I mean, and don't get me wrong, I like bands for their sound, and that album is still going to have that sound, but do you want them to just kind of recreate the same thing?
Certain bands can do, like Motorhead, AC/DC can kind of stick to a fairly, you know, structured, you know,
way. Pretty good for those guys.
Yeah.
But I love the different eras of all of the band, you know, like Megadeth or something where, you know, I like the early stuff, and then there's other aspects that I like. With all the bands, you know, there's different, I like how they evolve, and it's exciting. And I find maybe when I was 20, I didn't like these certain albums. Then now that I'm 40, I'm like, I see what they were doing there, and now I get to reappreciate these albums, and it's cool. But yeah, it's just as soon as you're like, if I ever had to write an Untimely Demise record where it's like it's got to be heavy, the tempos have to be this, like to me that sounds awful. I don't like. We don't get paid, so like, shouldn't it be fun? Like, it's like, why do I have to make something that I don't want to do and I don't even get paid for it? Like, no.
Man, I say it all the time, and I feel like that's why this has been such a successful launch of this whole endeavor that we are all a part of now, my brothers in arms. I consider you guys a part of the team and family, that's just so you know. And the reason we've been doing so well is because we say, just like at the old place, no politics, no religion, ever. The second you bring politics or religion in anything, it all goes to shit. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's so enjoyable to hang out here each and every day. That's as close as we've ever gotten, I believe, if I'm keeping track, to being a little bit political. In a way
you're right.
that you guys just described pretty much what I'm seeing out in the real world right now. And the reason why I refuse to leave my house is because everyone's catering to the one person who's yelling and pissed off about everything. And that's as far as we'll go, because we're not a political or a religious place. But I feel like there was something there.
But yeah, back to the...
Teetering on the tip, maybe. It's dangerous.
Never.
Slippery slope.
This show, because I've mentioned many times before, I'm like Larry David. I really like getting out of things. I just,
so much.
If I can get out of a plan that I've made and then I don't have that plan, I'm just like, oh, this is the best. Oh, it's the best.
Heaven.
But for some reason, Tuesdays, I'm just like, I look forward to it because it's like, we get to hang out, and it's just a fun vibe, and it's like, it doesn't feel like work, it doesn't feel like an obligation or anything, which is, I don't know how you did it, but you did it.
I wish
you done good.
I wish you could have saw me crawling into the studio here. That's how much I love this
that
time.
Felt like work.
Together. It was like just getting here because I'm so excited to sit down and talk with you guys, because this is like, honestly, this is what life is all about for me, is just hanging out with your buddies and just shooting the shit. And if you can have that come across as natural, then guess what? You're doing really good. And if it's natural, even when the cameras are on, then you have solid gold all the time. That's what I feel like I got with pretty much everyone who comes through here, because we are all like intertwined and we all care about each other. And it's not to be too sappy, but it's pretty damn cool and something to be proud of. I think that you can have something like that in a day and age now where everyone's just so shitty.
And another thing, like with people that are kind of our age or whatever, I don't want to say, but it's hard to meet and have a social group sometimes, because everyone's got their families, everyone has their obligations, and it's tough to get out and see other people. So like, this is another just example, way that we can.
I say it all the time.
Yeah.
All I did with this was trick all of my friends into coming over and hanging out with me, because I was too scared to leave the house. I didn't want to leave the house. I hate it. Everything out in the real world horrifies me, from shitty drivers that don't pay attention to anything to all the other assholes out there that are doing stupid shit, and everything in between. All of it. I'm like, nah, man, I don't need none of that. It's not for me.
Yeah.
So
you got us, Gary. You got us.
What do we got here? We got someone rolling in?
Us.
I'm hearing a door. Anyways, hanging out on a Tuesday with Uncle Mike and Matt from all the bands. This is your show. Man, we've gone a half hour already. Whew. That seems like a lot of time. Was that a half hour?
Yeah, apparently.
What did we even talk about? Do we know what we talked about?
We talked about some.
I always just slip
haters.
into fugue states where I'm just like,
blacked out. Am I that old school?
Yeah.
Still holding.
Yeah.
Still holding. Oh man, have you ever done the rings in gym?
The gymnastic.
Iron
like,
cross?
Is that what it is?
Like when you go full straight out?
Well, there's the
I've never
gymnastic
done
rim.
it.
Yeah.
but,
And you do this, and it's just
Oh, yeah.
like,
Yeah.
one
I
of those things.
feel like that's something I would have been good at about 20 years ago.
It might be hard.
Yeah.
I feel like we should do some feats of strength.
Yeah,
You celebrate
feats of-
Festivus, right?
Every year.
Yeah.
I've since 2014 I've been giving out the Human Fun cards,
Nice.
and we put up the poll. We like make the meatloaf. It's a whole thing.
What have your feats of
Amazing.
strength been?
Well, we haven't did as many. Like, we'll do certain games and kind of, but generally it's more about the airing of grievances is the big thing for us.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, sorry guys. I heard the door open. I was trying to figure out what the heck is there a guest I forgot about? I didn't want to leave anyone hanging on the couch, but it's just my sweet little royal prince. So that's good. We're gonna hang out after. I love you, buddy.
But yeah, I like this idea of feats of strength being brought into this, like where we can do segments of filming certain.
It'd be
like,
fun, right?
I love that. Please.
Yeah, I feel like we should bring some in here. I don't know what they would be yet. I also want to get this beautiful golf course rolling in here. Thanks to our friends at Turf Doctor. I feel like doing some on-air golf shots for like, I don't know, $5 or something.
Yeah,
We got
I
some
like
charity shit going on
Like
here.
you get like a little back three or how many?
Yeah, I think we could do a 3. I want to get chipping involved too, and that's what really pisses off the engineers because they're like, dude, you can't trip around here.
Couple monitors,
Like,
a
man,
couple
it's just,
pieces of expensive
You know,
equipment.
and as I look at it, I remember the bills. It was pretty expensive.
When we were younger, I lived on Bornstein Crescent. And we did a Bornstein Classic. So we would start. I was 607 Bornstein was my childhood house. We would start from there and kind of make it through the terrace or whatever. And everyone just hated it, obviously. And I'm like, I didn't get. We always replaced the divots and like we were pretty good
the
about.
windows.
How many structures did you hit?
Well, I
think
feel
that
like a
was
lot of
the-
that vinyl siding. That's
I was
what
gonna say
got-
vinyl would have been
that's the
popular in the
majority.
day, so that would
And
have
I
been.
think also like us hopping the fence to like get the golf ball from, like I now can see why they were annoyed,
yeah,
but at the
right.
time it was just like it was clean fun to me.
I'll tell you. Have you ever golfed out at Shields before?
I have not.
The Shields Golf Course. It's an amazing, amazing golf course. And I lived out there for the last like 6 years. And I had a golf cart. And we go out and we golf all the time. I'd hop in my golf cart, back out, drive to the golf course. You're there in like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, give or take, and you're golfing. And on the 8th hole, it's this big, long par 4. And the right side is all houses. All brand new, big, beautiful, beautiful houses. And I'm the type of guy that it doesn't matter where the house is. The second I'm aware it's there, I'm going to it.
Slice McGavin.
Like I will slice, I will hook. I won't have hooked a shot in 20 years. If there's a house right there and it's in my head, I'm hitting it.
Yep.
Like I'm hooking right at her. And it's got to the point they put up one of those fences that these people think keep balls away for some reason that never work. And they've had it up there, and I've golfed with enough people now that have either hit a house or gone in between the houses to the right side, where I just don't tee off there anymore. Yeah. I go down like 100 yards and just tee off from the top of the hill just so you don't do it because everyone hits these houses. And my point being, what the hell are you thinking buying a house adjacent to a golf course? Why would you do that? And you know that it's your fault if you hit that house?
Yeah,
You
which
hit that house,
blows my
you're paying
mind.
for it.
Which blows my mind.
The golfer?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. If you go out and you bang a house, guess what, bud? You're paying for it.
Well, it's like the other one, Greenbrier or
Yeah,
whatever.
all
When they
these
redid
places
that,
now, yeah.
and it's like, and they're right there. Like those are, I don't know, they're close to there, and I've been there. Not necessarily me, but I've seen people.
Here's why it pisses me off so much. If you have enough effing money to buy a mansion on a golf course, I'm pretty sure you can afford to fix your $2,000 window. Me, the guy that has a normal job with no money, I can't afford to make payments on that for 10 years. Figure it out. Don't come after me for that. Sorry, I suck at golf. That's just me. I'm going to hit stuff everywhere, all over the place. If you have a house there, it's going to get hit. And that's just
That's on you, bro.
That's,
I'm sorry.
Never made sense to me why people would. I guess because it's nice. It's nice to be on.
Yeah,
the
I
golf.
guess so.
Is it
I guess
nice getting hit in the head with a golf ball? Probably not.
Not so much.
That's just a little thought. I don't even know where that came from. That was quite the tangent.
Yeah, well, it could have even been
bit
like
of a slice.
some backlash from talking about airing of grievances and stuff.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
I don't know. Maybe that's
What's
where
the deal with houses on golf courses? That's where you commented about Larry David. I've been watching lots of Larry David lately, like over the last couple
like
of days.
curb or
Like curb stuff. So it's like best.
Oh,
like, so like
yes.
I'm slowly learning about YouTube TV and like watching videos on
Yeah.
YouTube, and they have like a best of Larry David stuff. They got this one. It's like Larry David versus the world, and it just keeps track of Larry David and the world and all of his little things that the whole show is about. If you're not aware of Curb Your Enthusiasm, it's Larry David who created Seinfeld, and it's just him being a normal self, and his normal self is just absolutely hilarious.
Amazing.
But
He gets so angry about all the stuff we get angry about in our heads, but never verbally acknowledged. He just does. And it's like the final total after however many seasons it was Larry David had like 370 points, and the world had like 130. And it was just to the point where, we are all Larry David. Like, we all think exactly like him, the old curmudgeon. And he had that great line where he's like, I figure I did pretty good for a guy in a situation who hates people but has to deal with them all the time. You know, and that's sort of where it's at. I don't know if that's just us getting old or what, but I find I am so Larry David right now.
But yeah, there's the lessons in those, because you know how it always starts off where it's like, oh, it's going great, and you know, like the family loves him, or it's like, oh, Larry, Larry's here, and they just love him, and then something happens that kind of rubs him the wrong way.
Weirdest,
like a small thing.
Yeah, and he has
Tiny,
two
tiny.
choices. He could just let it go, and it would be totally fine.
Which
but
is
he just
what society does.
he can't let it go, and then it just all goes to hell.
And then it creates a
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
show
yeah.
about it. And it's
But
great.
yeah, that says something. You know, it's those little things you can let them
unbelievable.
go, and you won't have to deal with that stuff.
The
But
point is, he's right.
Yeah.
All of those things, he is right
Yeah.
in fighting back on all this stupid shit that we all put up with. Like tipping after already having a tip, paying 18% on your bill, and then having a tip after that. And it's not even him being an asshole not wanting to tip. He goes, you know what? I don't want to do the math. I'll just put 30 total, and that guy can give him the other whatever money is. I'm not doing it.
yeah.
Yep.
And it's just these little things, and because people always take and take and take, and all they want to do is take, and everyone's out here taking. And the second you're like, whoa, maybe we shouldn't. Whoa, how dare you? And this goes
Yep.
back to people being able to comment and all that. And it's just such a negative thing to talk about, but I feel like we can do it with some swag here right now, as you guys are such positive guys.
Yes, and huge Curb Your Enthusiasm and Seinfeld.
Oh,
So,
just-
and Larry
so
David.
funny.
fans.
That we can't talk about religion, but Seinfeld is essentially
It's
kind
a
of
religion.
it's
Yeah.
kind of my religion.
So did you know that like the George character was based on
Oh, yeah.
Larry
Yeah.
David?
I was
himself?
one of the highlights was when George takes off. They're trying to figure out, well, who's going to be George? He's like, well, I can be George.
Yeah.
I'm George. I am George.
And then he wants to cast
Learn about
Cheryl.
me.
His... Yes. Oh my goodness, I
Maybe
love that
that's a show
show
we
so
could do
much.
is just recapping Curb. I've only seen in my life probably like 8 episodes.
Oh,
Okay,
so
that's it.
there's
yeah,
like a
you
new.
need
Is that
to
something?
you
I
need
know.
to just watch
I
it
know. Well,
all. And
Leon Black's my favorite character
oh,
of all
I
time.
love the character. All the blacks are the best.
The best.
Yeah.
The best.
Uh,
And the way it's done is just so smart, because it's in your face and saying, this is what you think. This is how you operate. Like, it's the viewer. It's like Larry David saying to the viewer, this, like, you're the world. You're the one that's wrong here, and I'm going to show you why. And then you'll see how ridiculous it is that I have to fight about it.
yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, I had read like a Seinfeld book or whatever, and Larry would always say like the first few seasons they were like all stories, you know, that kind of that actually happened to him, and then he would bring in writers, and he only wanted stuff that actually happened in real life. Like he didn't want a made up story. It had to be
Right, it had to
like
be real.
there was actual like a guy that his dad created Festivus, and like all of these things are actual. And after like a year, once they used all their real stories, he would like fire them and bring a new, but because he wanted everything to be a real story, which makes it even more funny that all of these things
totally.
actually happen.
Totally.
You know,
100%.
And then you see Larry David and you realize how it could actually happen.
Yeah.
Like you think like, well, that has to be made up. It's like, oh no. I mean, not that I
Check
know him
out
personally,
this
but
dude.
yeah, it's like, oh, okay, if anybody's gonna happen to it, it's gonna
Yeah.
be that guy, right? And
That's
there
awesome.
is, I don't know, has it out like the final season of Curb, because they
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it
it's
came
done.
out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I
And
think is it done?
it's done. Yeah.
but it
Expert will know.
because it just came out like recently. or something,
Recently,
like-
and I love, because you know how the Seinfeld finale was kind of, you know, everyone hated on it. I don't know if you guys have seen the finale of Curb.
I haven't,
I
but
haven't.
I've seen a clip.
Basically, he redid
corrected-
where-
yeah, okay.
he redid the exact same kind of bit, but for Curb, like the same
Come
style. So
on.
you'll have to check it out. But you know, like bringing in the old characters and kind of
right.
making
Bring them
it
all
like
through, do the whole
But yeah,
trial
so
and
it's like
end up-
it didn't work the first time. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again.
I love that. I love when guys stick to their guns, even when everyone says, don't do it, don't do it. You still
It's a spite thing. Like I've
Oh,
always
yeah.
been very motivated by spite in a positive way.
Right,
but, like,
yeah, I think
There's
so.
something about you can't do that, and you're like, oh yeah,
show you.
yeah, I
Oh,
can.
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys like the Rough Riders? Do you watch football? CFL football?
I was listening to the game on what was that Sunday?
Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday.
At work, I was in the scale at the hotel
Nice.
listening to the game, and it sounded like a good game.
I only ask because I said this yesterday. I lost all of my Rough Rider fandom. All my CFL fandom died. Like, I haven't cared about the CFL in years now.
Yeah.
And each year I try to get into it. I try so hard to like I got my best buddies that run literally a rider show over at the Green Zone. Hello again to the boys. I love them so much. And I still can't get into it. And I was trying to sit down and figure it all out. We're doing a little dude podcast, which is a show we're bringing back, which is very fun, with Coach Mazer. And we were talking about, because he's in the same boat, like, at what point did we lose our CFL fandom?
So that was my question. And for someone that has never, I mean, like, I've been to a couple games because I get a ticket or something. You go and you have a good time, drink a couple beers, whatever. But I don't keep up with anything. I don't watch games, you know, whatever. But so that was going to be my question. It's what was it? Was there a turning point?
I think, like, for me, it was mostly just fantasy football as a whole, because I love fantasy football. I got like 5 different teams that we roll out, and I'm all about that, and that's all strictly NFL. And I know there's CFL fantasy sports, but it doesn't hit the same as the NFL. A lot of, and this isn't an NFL versus CFL thing, because we can all agree it's 2 totally different sports. It's a whole different thing. So with that out of the way, it's more just all my time is invested in, I guess, learning about NFL players and what are they going to bring to my fantasy football team, you know?
Gotcha.
And I feel a lot of shame from that, because as Coach Mazer and I talked about, still to this very day, you go to the lake and you walk around a campground out at Candle or somewhere, everyone's got the game on the radio, or else they got it on the big screen. You stop by, you ask anyone, what's the score? They'll tell you, everyone knows.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm missing out almost. I got like the FOMO of the Riders, and they come out this weekend and they have a big win. They even have, and this is what got me back into it and why I wanted to talk about it. They have a wide receiver named Bain. Yeah, like the Bane. His name is Bane. He had like 3 touchdowns. And so all I wanted, and I was pushing this, I'm going to push this probably every day now, it's because I love the character of Bane, but the ability to promote Bane with like the Bane voice, right? Like, you remember, it doesn't matter who you are. I was born in the darkness. Like, you have Bane, like imagine that, like they're doing the intros for everyone, and then it's like, Sean, I think it's Sean, Bane, and he'll come running out. And imagine having like a Bane mask on and like, hello, Saskatchewan. I will score touchdowns for you. Like, if he leaned into the Bane thing,
I think you're on
like,
this.
let's get on this,
Embrace
man.
it.
Let's really start promoting this. I feel like I would really get behind it.
Yeah, for me, I think if going back to when I stopped losing a little bit of interest, it was kind of when the 13th Man thing happened, way back when, or what. That was when our family would do like steak night in Canada, so we would always, have steaks or something on the barbecue, and we'd always watch, my mom likes the Leafs, or we would watch the Riders games, and like it was a family event, like throwing footballs around in the back, just wholesome, as wholesome as you can get. And I just remember watching that game, and we were so happy, and then they're like, oh, wait a minute, there's a flag on the play, there was too many, and we're like, no. And I just remember after that, me and Murray going over to our friend's house, and I think we had one of those like depresso drinking sessions where like,
football, man.
Yeah, we were like
sucks.
really, really upset, like seriously depressed. And I was like, why do I feel this way? I don't want to feel this way anymore. And I kind of, from there, kind of got out of it.
For you.
And
What's it called? You pushed past. And you made yourself better by not letting that eat away at you.
But I would like to dabble again. But that's the thing. Once I get into a team, anything I do, I'm so into it that it's like.
I feel like we should do that.
Yeah.
We should do that for the Riders this year. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I feel like there's a lot of us. LB, Lil Brookwyn's our only guy. He's our Rider go-to guy. He's the one that gives me all the info. Maybe we can become like Rider super fans.
He's your inside man.
My inside Rider. Ooh. That's nice. So maybe that's something we'll work on. At the very least, maybe we can do some Bane promo videos.
Yeah.
Put it out there. I mean,
just see
maybe they're looking for something they don't know they need.
The very least, if this guy's scoring 3 touchdowns a game, he's got to do like just for one of his touchdown dances, like get like a blow up doll of like Batman and just stomp him. Take that, Batman. Something that was a bad idea.
Yeah, and don't be talking about breaking backs
Gary might
right
have
now,
actually
Gary.
broken his back.
I feel like I woke up with Bane this morning. He's, what's wrong, Gary? Is your back sore? I'm like, yeah, you got me good. Ugh. For those who don't know, I did something to my back, and no one knows what we did, including me. I just woke up, and this is what old looks like. You wake up, and then you just literally can't move. In the lower back, Uncle Mike was trying to get me into shape for the show. Lower back, every single thing that you do moving-wise goes through the lower back. Mm-hmm. Right? That's just fact.
Sit in.
Like, what do you think about this
Walking.
chair that I'm sitting on? That's probably not doing good things for my back, I'm assuming.
You'll
Hey?
be-
Well,
You'll
we had the
rough
choice
tomorrow,
between the
probably.
bench or the chair. We could have stole the Phenom's chair.
I think we
but then
made
he'd
it. We made the right
He wouldn't be
choice.
very happy
Yeah.
with that.
I'm comfortable.
It's a good look. They do squeak a lot, hey? I was trying to. So if we were to replace these chairs, what would we replace them with? Are there any requests from my sexy co-host here? And like something like not. Sorry, that was way too broad of a question, or not broad enough.
feel like there's
something not chaired like this, like something different. What would be cool? Like a cockpit or something, or like a VLT chair.
Like a racing seat or something?
Yeah, like something cool. We're talking about getting the
Jammed
green
up in
screen
here?
going behind the back here, along the back, so we can literally green screen this bitch up.
Leather recliner massage chairs?
That would be good.
Yeah, because we're set on the backrest, hey, like a drum stool
we
is
need,
kind of.
we
that would be a
need
little,
the back. As you know, the bench taught us
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you're right.
That dirty little bench over there taught us. Was that you last time I was stuck on the
It
bench?
was a little
Uncle
hard on
Mike
the
was
ass.
walking like me by the end of it. It's like, my poor dude. Can't have you hurting like that.
I mean, it wasn't that bad, but
Well, it was bad enough that we got the shit chair.
it was bad enough that I complained about it, that's for sure.
Well, and I will use this as a good moment to promote your muscle mud. As I got out of the shower and I muscle mudded up my back and my neck all the way up and down, and I feel like it worked pretty good.
Nice.
I'm moving better than I was, which is quite nice. But it was also led to why I'm not dressed.
Right.
So, what's that? A double-edged sword?
I'm
I
sorry.
guess you could say.
Ever since we started talking about Bane, I just can't get Mick Bane out of like, I don't want to hear it, McBain. From now on, we're playing it by the books. By book. I just can't. Now that I've said that, we can move on, but I just.
Had to get that out.
We got to get those
Get
out.
it out.
I still can't believe. Why does it go by so fast? I keep looking at the clock. Like, there's no way we've gone that long. I feel like we barely even talked about anything. Yeah. Should we talk about some of our supporters?
Yeah.
Like Aquaman? I love Aquaman. Look at that. Boom! Aquaman Limited. Do you guys know what an underwater drone is?
I do now.
I
Yeah.
could
They
take
do
a guess.
underwater drone inspections. They go right into your water lines and they have drones that inspect. They also operate licensed water treatment facilities in Alberta and Saskatchewan. And they do so much more. Annual and quarterly monitoring, sampling and monitoring.
That's
Sampling
important.
and monitoring. Anyways, love them over there. We got a bunch of good stuff here from them that we have to start giving away soon. We got all your stuff as well that we got to start giving away. So a little bit of shout out to the gang. All right, before we get out of here, we got to get into a little bit of the feeling stuff. As today is an anniversary. Now, this guy, so this is my buddy Doobie. I don't know, you get that? Look at him. Look at that handsome prince right there, hey? That is my good buddy Doobie. 2011. 2011. I don't got the math. What is that? 13 years?
Yeah.
13 years ago, we lost my sweet, beautiful, silky boy. And just want to say hello to him, wherever he may be, and to his family. We love you, Ronnie and Linda and the gang. You guys are all amazing, and we're thinking of you today. But this being the day, and then we lost another one of our buddies, in our buddy Gabe. And it's just like, man, I was having all these sort of mental thoughts and just dealing with the stuff that comes with stuff like this. And it reminds you to be diligent, I guess, as we talk about the importance of, not letting the assholes get to you, the people that are always trying to get you down. And I like to take days like this one to step back and realize, you know what? All this shit that we care about so much and worry about so much really doesn't matter that much. And that was always my biggest takeaway since the day he died. On this day, 13 years ago, I always said, at least I'm alive. Like, you don't want to let a buddy down by just wasting a life away and being an asshole, So it's just a good reminder. And again, with death popping up in our friend circle just over the weekend, and we were talking, you guys, just about how, like, everyone has memories with these people. And whenever we hear that they pass away, then those memories obviously come to the forefront. But you guys don't got a comment or anything. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew this is the shit that we're talking about when we say, just look past the bullshit. Then life is so unbelievably awesome in so many ways that you can't let the little things sort of take a shit on your party, I guess. I've said shit a lot.
yeah.
That's a lot of
Yep.
shit.
One thing again, since I've gotten a little bit older, the more thankful I am for
Yes,
stuff.
there
I
you
just
go.
really feel like it builds, like being thankful in the littlest things or whatever. That just ends up making you, in such a better headspace, because you're like, hey, you could be like, it sucks at work today or whatever, and then you're like, man, I got a sweet job. This is awesome. Like it
Perspective.
allows
Yep.
me, but just the more thankful for, like, again, there's so many things with the band, like, I should have made it bigger, this or that, like the things that you don't have. But when you focus on the things that you
Things that
do
you
and
do
you're
have.
thankful for
Yep.
them, it's the right way to live. And yeah, like Murray had messaged me right before, like, I was out
Yeah.
front, and he was letting me know about Gabe, and we were kind of just talking. We're like, we gotta make the most of this time
it.
together. And it's just like you said, you take stock, and you're like, it's hard, but you have to live your best life in
That's
honor
it.
of these people.
Yep.
and all of our
100%.
friends that aren't with us anymore.
Yep, and I think going back to kind of what we've been touching on the whole episode here, is that like you are what you spend your time on. If you're upset about things, you look at the negative. Well, yeah, it's going to be a shitty day or a
Yep.
shitty life or a shitty week or whatever.
Shit
But
it into fruition.
yeah, but you look at the good things, and it's like, wait a second, things aren't that bad.
And then
Like,
it's
it
so
is pretty
crazy
awesome.
how it just everything changes. The clouds break, and
That's
the
it.
sun starts shining when you get that perspective. And obviously, everyone's has their own issues. Like, it's not like, not everyone can just turn it off. And,
No,
and I understand that and appreciate that I'm blessed to have a decent perspective and decent mental health and stuff. But
Yeah.
but it's if at all possible, when you can look on the bright side, it's an easier way to live life.
As cliche as it sounds, just look on the bright side. And,
So true.
it's not always rainbows and unicorns every day, but every once in a while there are those little glimpses, and it's like, you think back to that good time when you're having a shitty time.
That's what you focus on. I find ever since, like this, like Doobie dying was like my first big like death in life, and it's been so interesting to watch how everyone sort of reacts to it differently. Like everybody copes in different ways, and we all have our own ways of doing things. And especially with our like core group with Doobie, so many people in so many different ways and how they cope, like even to this day. And so when a day like the two big days for him, his birthday on May 2nd, and then his, I guess, passed away day of June 11th, both of them I make sure I step the hell back and look around and be grateful for everything you got and what you've been through and all that. And I'm so grateful to have, I guess you could call it a trigger in a way, that reminds me, hey, asshole, get it together. Just because someone cut you off doesn't mean you need to go and ruin 1,000 more people's days. Like, just try to be better, because there's people out there that you love very much that no longer have an opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
Just be good, hey?
Yep.
Just be good.
Got goosebumps, Gary.
No, you stop. I just want to make sure that the families of our friends know that we love and care about them, and we can just leave it at that. I need to leave on a happy note. I know you were saying last time you played the piano, you had a neck thing going on.
Well, it was borderline. I was like, I could twist, a little bit.
You
but,
went all in, though. You put on a performance.
I did, and I feel it's just something takes over when that music kicks in,
And now you can't even hear it.
The
'cause
music
don't
you
have the
can't
head-
even hear.
Yeah,
I know, that's what's even
I
more
know.
impressive.
It's
is that
but
way more
I
epic.
know
you
it's
have it
there.
inside of you.
I know.
Exactly.
Well, Phenom, what do you
feel
think?
the
Should we get the fingers rolling on our way out here today? There we are. All right, boys. The pianos are playing. Here we go. The piano crew's in. Let's just keep it right on this camera right here and watch the boys play. That felt like about a 5-minute conversation. So, to you guys, thank you so much for being you. Uncle Mike from Uncle Mike's All Natural. You can head on over to unclemikesallnatural.com, hit up the promo code DAM20, get 20% off your order. You can save Father's Day with that magical DAM20 promo code, so be sure to use it. To my man, Matt from All the Bands, thank you for doing this every Tuesday. In case you're wondering, is it as fun as it looks? It really is. Like, this is the most fun. To the point where I believe we're going to start our own little sideshow that's going to possibly start next week. So more on that next week as we continue. To the Phenom in the booth, my man. Great job today. As always, you're amazing. Terrell Anders rolling in. I love you, buddy. Can't wait to talk to him. He just started lawn bowling. He's a lawn bowler now. So we had to move our meeting day to Tuesdays. So that'll be good. We'll check in with him. And to you for hanging out with us today. Thank you. We appreciate you greatly. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. yet again, as that is what we do. And again, to Doobie, happy 13. Did you say happy on the death anniversary? I think you can, yeah. Happy death anniversary, Doobie. Love and miss you. To your family, thinking of you guys. And to all the Gates family, thinking of you guys as well, and friends. And if this isn't a reason for you to just be a better person, I don't know what else we can say. But we're all going to keep trying, and that's what it's all about, I guess. I just want to take the rest of this in. Like two incredibly different styles coming together in the most incredible way.
But the passion's there.
It's there. It's so
I'm
there.
classically trained
I can tell.
on the piano.
Like, one day I'm going to
No
get
training.
pianos in here. We're going to get a couple, at the very least, some guitars. And just
The
see how this
guitar.
works.
I can rip on a guitar.
I got a guitar guy. I do. His name's
course.
Von Travis.
Get him over here.
Of course.
Yeah, and it's sick. I tried playing it. It's so hard. But you guys are musicians. Have an awesome rest of your Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a great rest of your day. And again, remember, just be kind, all right? Karma's very real. Do good things and they'll start happening, I promise. Let's just let these boys play us out. This is so good. Great job, guys.
We